Yes.
Excellent.
Oh,
Hello.
hello. Hey, everybody. This is my second podcasty thingy, whatever, interview, Zoomy thing. The first one was with Kevin Necessary a few months ago, and today I'm doing it with a young rocket coming up in the industry. Her name is Alexandra Bowman, and I'm always going to call you Alex if that's cool. And
That is cool. Alexandra is when people are mad at me or when there's a joke. So,
so Alex and I have been friends for I think it's been 5 years now, and
wow.
yeah, because I remember where I was in 2020 when I met you at Matt Worker's party.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so going on 6, I guess. So anyway, I've known her for a while. We're pretty good friends, but I haven't seen you in a while. But I guess I should kind of introduce you. Alex is
Please, yeah.
she's a cartoonist, of course, but she does a lot of other things, and I'm going to let her
Oh,
educate us on that.
good.
And she lives in New York City now, but
Hmm.
she's from Virginia, like I am. Well, I'm not really from
Hmm.
Virginia, but I am now. And been here 35, 25, 30. Ah, shit. I've been here
Yeah.
a long time. So I've been here long enough to say I'm from Virginia. And
Yeah.
Alex is dressed nicer than I am. She's a glittery coat. I think I saw a professional wrestler wearing that coat. Um,
Interesting.
but it was all lit up. It was like sparkly and shiny and had words maybe. And
Cool.
I'm just wearing a t-shirt I bought in a Carlsbad record shop, which I mostly bought it because there's no more record stores. I was like, there's a record store. So I went to a record store.
There was a joke about that on the Daily Show on Monday when they were talking about the Colbert stuff. They're like, our industry is like a Blockbuster video stand inside a record store. So, so I was like, oh man, I not to make it about me, but I think while I would like to work in late night, I think the same sentiment also applies to political cartooning.
I was
So,
about to say that. Oh, what's it like to be in a dying industry?
yeah, right, right.
So anyway, Alex is a cartoonist. She worked for who was that? That during the 2020 election, you worked for them, right?
Yeah, the Lincoln Project. That
Lincoln
was a long
Project.
time ago now.
That was escaping me. That's one of those things that was going to wake me up at 3 a.m. if I slept at 3 a.m. Lincoln Project, wake up middle of the night. I do that.
Indeed.
So what are you doing?
Yeah, so I worked for Counterpoint for a little bit less than a year. I actually what happened was I was honored to be plucked out of having not drawn a cartoon for 2 years to be the Loker Fellow for Excellence in Editorial Cartoons for the AAC.
I heard about that.
And yeah, they had revamped it. I think Kevin told me you were prominently advocating for me in that Zoom meeting. Thank you. I
You're
appreciate
welcome.
that.
I'm not the one that brought your name up. I don't believe that might have been Kevin.
Oh,
I don't remember
well,
for sure.
then what the heck, dude? We've been
Well,
friends
I
for
was the
five
first one to
years.
say yes. Yeah, I remember that.
There you go. But they revamped it, and to their enormous credit, the AAC through Kevin asked me, so we want to make this a fellowship and not just an award. So what can we do to make this as helpful to you as possible? And I said, job, please. So they hooked me up with Nick Anderson, and I was just a regular contributor to Counterpoint. You could never have told that I would had been planted there because of an award. They just made me look like any other cartoonist. So that was
I did
great.
not know that.
Yeah, and I was
I didn't know
hoping
stuff.
that I would get to, weasel them into giving me another year, but the newsletter as we know it, I honestly don't know what noun to use. The newsletter, the staff cartoonists outside of the syndicate, I don't know. But they dropped that, and now they are like only have the syndicate and also are hiring people from other syndicates now.
Oh,
So it was
counterpoint.
it was a
Yeah.
little unceremonious,
Yeah,
but
I'm actually they've signed up for my syndication service. As for my
oh.
readers, I am self-syndicated. I'm looking at you readers. I am self-syndicated. I was with creators until 2013 when I was laid off in 2012. I knew I was going to have to like make the only way I could really make a living was to do what I wanted to do, which was draw cartoons. I tried to work in a music store for a little while, and I realized I didn't like schedules and out 9 to 5 and stuff like that. So I was like, I got to be a cartoonist, but I can't make a living on syndication through someone else's syndicate. So I got to do my own. And I'm not seeing as much as I was when I was with creators. That might have changed by this point, but I made more money. I'm not saying I
Mhm.
made a lot of money, but I made more money than I was making with creators. And creators was good to me. See, now I made this about me. Creators was good to me. I have no complaints with them. I have complaints
Hey,
with
I
them
would
now,
appreciate
you
it.
know?
I'm loving the recap,
Yeah.
I knew this stuff in the back of my head, but getting the proper nouns is helpful. So thank you.
Yeah. It's better to be self-syndicated. And since I know everything now that the syndicate bosses know, no one's ever going to offer to syndicate me again. Because it's better to be on your own. You don't share the money. It is a lot more work. You got to you have to like do your own budget. You have to like invoice every month and you have to seek new clients and then have like you have to create a contact list of every newspaper in the country. I don't know if
Mm.
I'm giving this education. I should save this for a panel. Uh, at the
Well,
AEC,
maybe Stephen Colbert will find out that he agrees with you and really enjoy being an independent actor. Maybe
you
we'll see.
know, he could do exactly what Tucker Carlson did, which was create a show that I don't watch, but it's apparently on X or whatever. And
Yeah, well, like Conan did that, imagine the Colbert Report, but he's like a upscale YouTube comedian. Like it would be great. No notes.
people would watch it. People would pay for that. He wouldn't have the same audience, of course, but he'd probably, I don't know. I mean, they paid him 16 million a year. I don't know
Well,
if he'd make 16 million a year doing that,
I
but
mean, like I don't know his viewing numbers on CBS, but look at his viewing numbers on YouTube. I mean, there would be essentially no difference besides no marketing via
yeah.
Paramount, and the YouTube channel wouldn't say the Late Show with Stephen Colbert anymore. It would say the X with Stephen Colbert. Like, who
His
cares?
numbers were actually around 2 million. See, I researched things for the blog.
Yeah.
Crap.
Oh.
He was number one for the last 9 years consecutively, and he was making 16 million a year. They had just renegotiated that, and he was. They say that he lost like 40 million, but if he lost 40 million, how much did Jimmy Fallon lose? Because he's in third place, and the ratings are dismal.
Right.
That show, and but they're not canceling it. That show is like a legacy show
Mhm.
from like the 30s and 40s, I think, and shit.
Yeah.
Way
Yeah.
before Carson even. I'm not that old to remember exactly all the stuff. I think Nick. I don't
Well,
remember.
the MSNBC and the Tonight Show are owned by the same group, and who knows what Trump's going to threaten for NBC.
No, they're not the same group as CBS.
No, but I'm just saying, like Jimmy Fallon's not safe because
Right. Oh yeah.
if Trump decides to sue MSNBC or their parent company,
Mhm.
Jimmy Fallon could be on the chopping block, and Seth
Well,
Meyers could be on the
it
chopping block.
depends what NBC would want from Trump. Because like when
Right.
ABC settled with Trump, they wanted something. I don't remember what it was. And it was a simple case. They could have won it. CBS wants something huge. And well, actually Disney with ABC, Disney wanted something. Don't remember what that is now. I wrote about it, but now I don't remember what it is. But CBS wanted the merger. They needed
Mm,
for the FEC that the head of that's appointed by Trump.
mm,
So that was definitely a bribe that 16 million and 15 million. They pay Colbert 15 million and or
right.
16, I don't care. But
Well, I was wondering about that, honestly. I know we're kind of sidetracked, but
that's fine.
uh I was hoping that, Colbert has thought about, maybe he didn't ask about it because I understand that raising any fodder might lead them to make asks of him. But I hope he at least thought of lowering the financial concern if that was something they were really suggesting. By saying I'll take less money. Like I'm sure I should have researched the number, but I'm sure he makes millions of dollars. Like
Yeah.
he could have said, I'll sacrifice 90% of my salary. But they might have said, okay, but for you to stay on the air, we're going to ask that you not talk about XYZ. So I don't know. I
Yeah.
just hope that he has thought about that if it came into the conversation in
Well,
an ethical
his
way.
salary is 15 million. It's like
Right.
a million less than the bribe.
Hmm.
So, but I don't think his salary is an issue. I mean, especially if they're just going to bribe people with
Yeah, no, I'm
$1 million,
saying if
you
the
know.
financial thing is real at all,
It's
then
not.
I at least wish he would have said, something like, I'm happy, like on air in the monologue, like I'm happy to give up my many millions of dollars that I walk away with if it's really a financial concern. Or to tell us that he thought of that. That's all. And kind of to then show us that the financial concerns thing was not all that jazz. So,
Yeah,
so
they wouldn't go for it. They'd come up with some other bullshit because the financial stuff is bullshit. I saw
yeah.
like today. I'm gonna name them. You don't have to crap on any cartoonists on this pod, but I'm going to. And
Mhm.
But I saw one today by Al Goodwin, and
I saw that one
I
seconds ago.
almost replied to it because he made a comment on his own cartoon at Go Comics, and I thought since he made a comment, maybe I can reply to it. Because what I was going to do was you left out the fact that Colbert's number one,
Hmm.
and the two that's behind him at the same time slot. You got two and three. They're not being canceled.
Right,
Ken's not being canceled. Fallon's not being canceled. But
right,
how come the number one show is being canceled? So,
right.
but these conservatives, because there's another one by Gary Barville who
Mm,
does the talking point idiot, and they don't mention this, of course, because it hurts their argument. But their talking point is, oh, it lost money and Colbert's not funny. The thing is, it's weird. They copied the part from Paramount and CBS that Colbert lost us all this money, but they leave out the part that they still like Colbert. That they were praising him.
hmm.
So innovative. He's hilarious.
Right.
He's a great host, a great interviewer.
Yeah.
But these guys are saying, "Oh, he's being canceled because he's not funny or he's horrible." And
Uh-huh. They're
but
projecting.
yeah,
I mean,
it's
just
horrible. Yeah,
in the spirit of civil conversation with people who've been in the field decades longer than I've been alive, like uh, you can't project your opinion to onto someone else's opinion and then misrepresent their opinion. If you have your own opinion, great, but you can't pretend that your opinion is the same as someone else's because that's misinformation. I don't
yeah.
I don't quite know how that's difficult, honestly.
It's just talking points.
And if I've done that at any point, please let me know so that I can apologize and not do it again.
Oh,
Please.
I wouldn't worry about
And
it
the
yet.
viewers. And really quickly, my iPad is running low on charge. So please talk, but give me 30 seconds.
Okay, just gonna plug in. Uh, I'm plugged in all the time, except when I'm on the road. Or like downtown yesterday. I had to go downtown and draw. But okay, I'm gonna change subjects now. I could talk about the talk show thing all day, and I know you can too.
For sure.
What are you go to Comic Con? This is a great question. I have this, and you may not like it. So
Okay.
question. All right. So you go to these Comic Cons and expos,
Uh-huh.
and when you do, you're dressed like a cat.
I
She's
do.
not
It's a
dressed like a
marketing
cat. She doesn't get
strategy.
like in this cat uniform, this big tail, or it looks cheap, like she bought it at the Halloween store that's only open in October. She goes all in, and I wish
I
we had a
make them.
photo.
I make the darn things from scratch.
How
So
did you learn how to do the makeup?
great. Yeah, well, the thing is, like, so I when I go to comic conventions and exhibit not only the general secular illustrations, but also political cartoons, I will wear Cats the musical costumes that I have made. And
How
I
professional
started,
it looks.
yeah,
It
thank you.
does.
I started doing that in 2023. I tried one on that someone else made in 2022, and then I made my first one in 2023. And I didn't really mean for it to be as interesting as important to me as it's become. Part of it was that this one show and making these costumes combined a lot of existing interests of mine, like the poems and the poems that make up the lyrics are like British children's literature about animals, which I was already obsessed with. And I also have had this real interest for a long time in the idea of things that are unserious, taking themselves very seriously and making an argument in the process. And that is what this show is about. The whole show is essentially saying, look at these little guys, look at these kitty cats. They think they're really cool. They think they have roles in human society, and they don't. Isn't that silly? But the musical says, okay, yes, that's the case, but how is that interesting? What is that saying? What is that achieving? And I love it. It feels like I wrote it. It's like everything I am interested in about fiction and English, and one of the reasons I got a master's degree. It's crazy. So anyway, I
Nice
uh,
plug for the master's degree, by the way.
well, yeah, I mean, I want to be real about that stuff. So, I tried one on, realized, oh my Lord, it's everything that I've been interested in. And then I made one, and then I realized, like, I can't be as loud as I want to be about how much I like these costumes and this show if I am wearing other people's. Like, I need to show that I am taking this seriously. I'm not just a consumer, I'm all in. That might be controversial amongst the costume people, but maybe it's just me and my insecurities.
Yeah.
I felt like I need to go all in to be taken seriously, just like the show's thesis. So I've made, I don't know, I wish I could have made more, but I have had like 3 other jobs. So I've made maybe um, maybe 7 or 8 in 2 years. I want to do, oh, that's nothing. I have a friend who does like 5 a month. So, but anyway, so it's something I really enjoy. It gets little kids over to my table and it brings other people joy, I guess. And also, it's an amazing marketing strategy to get people interested in me online and me at those tables at comic conventions. So I've heard some opinions from people that I am devaluing my work as a whole with that. But I really admire cartoonists like you who have their personalities on full display and who say,
You're an asshole.
what are we ultimately doing here? We're drawing cartoons. And like Jon Stewart said it the other night, like we're not speaking truth to power, we're speaking opinions into television cameras, you know? And I think it is something I like so much and something that I find so interesting. And ultimately I'm just drawing on my face and on fabric for my person. Why not do that? It's just another kind of three-dimensional art. And also the musical's not niche. It made like $4 billion. I should know this number, but it's like $4 trillion in 40 years. So
Wow.
not niche, not fringe, very mainstream. So anyway, it's become a bigger part of my life than I expected. And ultimately I think it's a pro.
I have drawn on other people's faces, but usually that was years ago, but usually they were passed out drunk, you know. Just
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
it's bad. Don't do that, kids. It's not do not draw a penis going this way on somebody's face when they're drunk. That's not cool. But
I
first you gotta
did
start with a line right here and never mind.
I've drawn two I've done two of my friends' faces before.
You've
I
drawn
want to
penises on your friends'
learn.
faces too?
I've done the cat makeup for
Oh,
two friends before.
okay.
So,
I thought you were being
some would say that it's just as explicit, but
stay awake
so,
and sober.
oh man, I want to practice drawing more on other people's faces too, because I've figured out my own. Like I know what works design wise on my own face, but I want to experiment with other people's
I'm
faces.
sure it's like those guys in Kiss, they could do their own makeup and no one else could do it as
Yeah,
well as they could because they've done it like 300 times a year or something like
yeah,
that. So
right,
here's a question. Because there's a question at the beginning of this.
yeah.
Uh, so you wear the costume to the Comic Cons and expos and stuff like that, and we have
Hmm.
one coming up. Oh, I got two questions now.
Yeah.
I'll ask the first one first. Why do you wear the costume to these things?
Yeah, well,
Ask me the last.
it's kind of like I said a second ago. Like it's something I really enjoy, and also it's a massively useful marketing strategy. Like at SPX, there's no costumes, right?
Okay.
And
I don't know.
at Cartoon Crossroads Columbus, there's no cosplay
That's
encouraged, right?
true. I don't think.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and there's been a couple other events where I've tabled same display, exact same inventory, and I make dramatically less money every single time I don't wear the costumes.
Okay.
So, and
Question second.
fewer people who I market to online show up. It is noticeable, and it's been noticeable for multiple data points. So, it's something I love, and I would probably do it regardless of whether it was a financial strategy. But it really helps me that it's also a financially beneficial thing. It helps me justify the cost of the costumes a little
Okay.
bit, the
Okay.
cost of
Second
buying all
question.
that. Yeah.
Second question. So you table at these Comic Cons and expos, and to my older readers, I don't really know what all that shit is either. So I have been to one when my ex-girlfriend took me as a birthday gift in
Oh,
Fairfax, which is smaller, but I got to see stormtroopers. Um,
yeah,
but
I
my
did
question to
too. I
you
have
is,
photos. I could literally pull one up from the Houston one I was just at, where I was in the gear next to stormtroopers.
so you're tabling, that means you're selling stuff, and I know that you're going and you're promoting yourself, but now the second question is, what are you selling that's physical?
Yeah, so I have prints of about 10 years of my inventory. So
Okay.
I may remind the viewers that, I started out as like a totally secular, totally just cartoon focused person, not with a political angle. So during college, I realized, hang on, like I'm not happy drawing other people's characters all the time. And I am not really happy drawing only mine. I don't feel like I'm doing much for the world. I feel like I am having fun. I don't feel like I'm contributing. The jury's out on whether political cartoonists are actually contributing, but that was what I felt at the time. So I thought, hang on, if I just put clothes on my donkeys and elephants, I can get started as a political cartoonist. So, that's it. That's it. And come up with of course well written, well thought out cartoons. But at the time, that was the thought in my mind. And so, and essentially, I have about 10 or 11 years worth of drawings just sitting there. And I thought, hey, I'll make prints of these things and I'll sell them. So I am actively profiting off of work that I did as a 14-year-old. And
Wow.
I'm lucky that I was good enough then that people don't know that I was 14 and it all looks about the same.
Oh
so
my God.
so
I-
either, I was really good at 14, maybe I've plateaued, I don't know. But yeah, I'm it's a lot of drawings of existing characters, a lot of like Disney and Doctor Who stuff, a lot of drawings of animals that are not associated with a fan property. It's a lot of that. And then like last spring I started doing at con commissions. So you come up to me, you tell me what you want to draw. And I also have a pay what you will system, so I can explain the philosophy behind that. But essentially, you tell me what you want me to draw, I will draw it, I hand it to you, and you tell me how much you think it's worth, and then you pay me that amount. It
Does
has
that
to be
work
at
out?
least, it actually does, because
Okay,
what
I'm
it
just
does
gonna
is
give you
like
50 cents or shit.
I say at least $5.
Okay.
So I'm sitting there. I have all the paper. They want drawings. I want money. I'm sitting there. I value my time, but I would like to give someone something that they can then use to preach me to their
Okay.
friend. So usually what happens, and I know I'm giving the game away, but usually what happens is people are so impressed with what they thought was going to be not good, like a pay what you will, that they give me a lot. That's usually what
You're a
happens.
good artist. Um,
Yeah,
okay,
it's
third
usually what
question.
happens. Hmm.
Third question. So our convention this year, none of it's secret now, so I can say this stuff. Our
Hmm.
convention is going to be at North Bethesda, which is a suburb of Washington, D.C. And
Hmm.
you know that because you live in Washington, D.C. You did.
I do.
And you're from this area. So our convention this year is in North Bethesda, and we're riding on the coattails of SPX. That's correct? And
Yes. Yeah.
and you're more familiar with SPX. We did the same thing kind of in Columbus a couple years ago, and uh, and that was a lot of fun. Got to meet a lot of kids and stuff. Our panels had more attendance and everything. Maybe we'll have that some this year. So
Yeah.
so you said that we don't do the animal thing, or you don't do the animal thing at SPX stuff, but are you going to break the rule and come as a cat at any point during the AEC convention?
Well, Warren is amazing and a good friend, and I
You don't want to freak
respect
them out?
I respect
Yeah.
all of his judgment calls, and I'm sure there's reasoning. He knows what he's doing. He's handled so much. Um, the cosplay community is rabid. They will jump at any opportunity to show off their work and to get their photos taken and to be yelled about on social media. They are a very vain people. If you let people come to your art convention in their art, you will get so much more money. Warren, please listen to me. Please, I will respect your rules on your turf, but you are missing out on so much money and so much publicity. Please believe me. So
Maybe the AEC should start doing that.
I think that you and I think Jack Omen and Kevin and I'll make your wigs. You'll look great.
We got to
Anytime.
involve Mark
I have
Murphy.
them on my fridge. I'm
Yeah.
looking at them now. I have Garfield's wig on my fridge. You would look great in the
You
Garfield
could only do
wig.
that with a famous cartoonist, not me. So,
Okay. I
um,
seriously, but anyway, I thought about wearing, and also I think SPX has a rule. I don't think Cartoon Crossroads Columbus has a rule because I was thinking of wearing Garfield to CXC. I think I mentioned it and someone said that would be fun. It's a little awkward because no one else was in costume there, but I might, I might do it.
we're on at least one panel together. I'm on three panels this year, which I think is crazy. I'm afraid I'm going to be overexposed, and our colleagues going to be at the panels. They might get sick of me.
Oh
Uh,
my goodness. The last couple days, I've been a little bit underwater because I've been lucky to have gotten an influx of new tutoring clients, which is how I make money. I work for like three or four, and soon to be five, consulting firms for like tutoring. And I've gotten a ton of people preparing for college essays and the SATs and stuff. So I need to check the emails. I think I'm on two, two panels.
uh,
I that's at the top of my to-do list. Literally, here it is. It
Oh,
says, yeah, AEC emails. So,
I'm on Crete,
yeah,
and we get one the other day about art of the art, and I had to like think like I don't even remember what that panel was about, and then
the art of the what?
the
The art
art
of the.
of the art, and then someone else talked about it and explained what it was, which I'm sure it was explained to me a while back, and I probably said something that got me on the panel, but I don't remember exactly what it is. But I'm on a panel about holy fuck, what panels am I on?
I'm struggling to kind of make up what that might be, the art of the art. Like, is it like the making of the art, like the art of
That's part
making
of it.
art?
That is part of it. That's like
Okay.
using different techniques or different
Okay.
equipment. Like, and right now we got a mix. I think Jack and I are on that one, and we're both on another one together.
Oh, cool.
About monetization. We're on one about Substack or whatever you do. What's that other one? Patreon or selling books or how are you making money in this industry? That's gonna be the panel that we're doing. We might bring in one more person who is making money with their cartoons outside of just being paid by newspapers. Basically, yeah, but I'm already on a panel with you. So,
Well,
so
I don't know.
that's why I didn't
I,
make
I,
it in.
I, it's so funny. Like my political cartooning accolades. This is what I do to try to seem humble whenever I mention like I have an award or I'm a director of this. I feel like this helps or something, and that I need to be humble
Does
about
it?
it. I don't know,
Yeah,
but
I need to start mentioning that.
my political cartooning resume bullets are what get me into comic conventions and get me admitted. And then when I get there, they don't sell a dime. they
Yeah.
the Mickey Mouse and Zootopia stuff sells. The
But you're allowed to sell that stuff despite copyright protections?
Yeah, they don't care. Like they write
Disney doesn't care?
the cons don't care, and I
Okay.
guess Disney doesn't care. Like I've been selling this stuff for, so I think I had my first table in like 2014, and then I got really serious about it right after college. So it's been many years and I've never had a problem. I've had problems on Redbubble, but I've never had problems with my tables.
Yeah, I'm still on Redbubble. I was with another. I know we keep changing subject.
I know.
Viewers, we keep changing subject as we go. We'll get more into political cartooning in a minute since
Yeah.
that's what you guys think we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
Redbubble gave me a problem, which is we should talk about this at monetization panel. Uh,
Hmm.
because if I use something like anything Disney, if I did a cartoon with the Mandalorian once, because we use pop culture references, and I couldn't sell a T-shirt with that, so I avoided. Someone recently asked for a T-shirt with a cartoon I had with Darth Vader, and they said, "Oh, I love this one. I want it on a T-shirt." And I said, "Sure, let me go add it to the shop." And then I remembered, "Oh yeah, I can't because they'll shut it down within 10 minutes."
Yeah.
They're
Here,
real, they're real quick about that.
I have a
So
tip for
yeah,
you,
avoid all this stuff.
and I haven't posted anything for a while, so
Oh yeah, don't use the hashtags.
maybe they
Don't do a
crack up.
Darth Vader hashtag or
Yeah, don't
Star
do the
Wars. None
hashtags.
of that.
Also,
Yeah.
don't do the title. So you can't put it in the title.
Oh
Like
yeah. I
put
figured
like
that one out, but they still catch you. They still find you at some point.
it
Well,
just
me
means
they
you're
have.
too good of an artist, that's all. You keep capturing his
That
likeness too
can't
well.
be the problem. That can't be it. Haven't you read my Great Wing Critics that their biggest go-to is you can't draw. You can't. I got one on Go Comics that's like, you need to take art lessons from Gary Barville. And I don't, here's my thing. I don't want to insult Gary Barville right there because he didn't ask to have his name included by the goon. But I always want to say, sure, and I'll teach him how to write a fucking cartoon. That's just not
I
based
don't
on some
know.
lying, hateful talking. And I'm
I
going off
I
on
said
a
the
rant.
thing I said the thing a second ago about making sure you're attributing quotes and opinions correctly. I go back and forth on how loud I should get. I feel
You have
like
a little creative license with that when you,
okay.
but you can
How
change it a
loud
little
I should
bit.
get about being openly upset with or frustrated by or frustrated by a certain cartoonist's acceleration of the death of the field. I don't know how loud I should be about that. I know that you think I'm doing that with Kegel. so, so
No.
yeah.
Yeah, I know. I roped you into that. I did this thing. My viewers know this. I did the thing against the two racist cartoonists. They're a duo. One guy writes it, one guy draws it, and uh, side part of that, my argument is, why do you need somebody to write cartoons whenever they suck? And he's just using cliches. Well, here's what he can do. The writer can just go look and say, ah. Someone used a cliff cliche, or they used just something with Garfield, and they said, "Oh, let's do the same thing, but we just changed the joke." And or just even you don't have to change the joke. And he has a writer for that. I'm like, why do you have a writer if you're just going to do the same tropes and cliches that Gary Barlow did yesterday or Ramirez did the day before yesterday? And but anyway, back to this. the racist thing, I called them out and I called Daryl out for syndicating it. I've never heard from Daryl. Well, I kind of heard from Daryl,
That doesn't
but
surprise me.
I heard from the racist dudes.
Not that he doesn't
A lot.
respond to emails, just that I don't think he would respond to something like that.
He
Not
didn't
that he doesn't
once.
respond.
When I
He's been
called him
very
out,
responsive.
when I called him out for the anonymous cartoonist because that was breaking ethics violations, and it was basically telling newspapers that your ethics policies don't apply to political cartoonists because we're not journalists. And that pissed me off that he was telling every newspaper in the country this. So I called him out and I said, "How do you rationalize violating every ethics policy of every single one of your clients?" And he says, "I don't have a problem with it." And I told him, "You did not answer the question," and he never answered that question. But he did kind of reply to this one with Margot and Cox. Because when I called him out racist, I got an email. You know this person. He works for Kagel. And
Hmm.
he tried to challenge me on this and say, "We are not selling that cartoon, or it's not up yet, so you can't say it is." And I went to the site and he says, "Where did you even find this cartoon?" I said, "I found it on your fucking website."
Well,
And I
you have a
literally said,
screenshot.
"On your,"
You have a
and I
screenshot.
literally, yes, I do.
Yeah.
And I literally said, "On your fucking website," because
Yeah.
I love this guy. This guy and I have been friends forever, going back 20 years. But he comes at me and says, How did I find this?" When it's on his website. And he goes, "Oh, that's not the syndication website." But it's on your website. It has Daryl Cable's name on it.
I mean, look,
And then
maybe
I
I'm
click it
lost.
and it tells you how to buy it.
Maybe I'm lost on the terminology, but the page that you saw had the price numbers on it.
Right.
And even if the cart is broken and my mom has gone onto the site and tried to buy one of my cartoons and she has not been able to, there were some tech issues on the site and my cartoons weren't loading. Other people's weren't loading, but mine weren't loading. Maybe that's what they meant. It's like it looks like it's for sale, and for all intents and purposes, it is for sale. You probably can just call them, but that is not that is a disingenuous response to your question. I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. And
yeah,
then,
and so you could say like we agree, like selling this cartoon is bad. So
yes,
we're on
it's
the same page.
bad. And that's like my issue with
Yeah.
creators and all the syndicates, not just Kagel, but Kagel's more dishonest about it. But the syndicates are selling a lot of stuff that's based on lies or conspiracy theories, like say a Marvel cartoon or Steve Kelly. Steve Kelly sucks, and but they will lie, just carry on the talking point, and the syndicates don't care. You would think that they would apply some, and newspapers don't care either. You'd think that they would apply some ethics policy to their stuff and say you have to base it on a fact. Okay,
Well, like
and sure,
genuinely, like
you can go out and create your own shit and everything, but you still have to be based on the fact. They don't
mhm.
care, but they don't care at all.
Yeah, well, and this is seriously a conversation I wanted to have with you, and honestly, I think it's cool that we're doing it now. Like, I'm a
In
young
public
person.
too. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, fine. Yeah, I don't care. You're cool. I know we're friends. I'm not worried about that.
not me. You got to worry about.
I genuinely
It's
want
the
to know,
people
like,
watching you got to worry about.
I want to know, like, I'm a young cartoonist. I'm just starting out. I and my entire staff were just let go from one publication while they now pay our former competitors. Like I found Kagel before that happened. I'm lucky that I had some other resume bullet to point to. I don't have the portfolio or name that you do to last with a self syndication approach. I don't. So do you think that there would be a better syndicate to go to? Or do you think that I should try self syndication and drop the other hobbies? Or genuinely, and I'm not asking in like, well, what do you think? I'm genuinely interested. Like, I want to make sure that if I'm going to be going around preaching that I'm a social justice warrior with the cartoons, that I'm making correct ethical decisions. I am deeply worried about coming across as a self-righteous 20 something. That's frankly why I've procrastinated on not on making more cartoons, is this fear of coming across as arrogant. And that's something I need to work on. But anyway, that's something I care about. And I'm curious, like, what do you think I could be doing differently?
Um, I don't think any other syndicate is going to get you in as many papers as Kagel does. I'll tell you that to be honest. But
Mm-hmm.
I also think Kagel is the least ethical of the syndicate.
Uh-huh. Okay.
I've got some more information that I haven't publicized yet. Um, I have a lot that I haven't publicized yet, and Daryl should wake up in the middle of the night with cold sweats with the shit that I know.
Well,
Um,
why do you think it doesn't matter to the editors that there are typos in a lot of those cartoons? Because that bothers me too. And
they don't
I don't
care.
like having my
Keiko's
cartoons
the worst
mixed
about
though.
that though. With the
Huh?
typos and cartoons, his cartoonists are the worst about that because I think, like, say, a creators or Tribune or United Media, or I can't remember all the names. I think that they might have editors that look at a cartoon before it goes out, and nobody's perfect. I have two proofreaders, and I get typos out there. Usually they don't last very long, because my proofers are really good. I don't think anybody looks at those that Cagle has at his place, and I heard from someone else say, "Yeah, we got to do something about the typos," and I'm like, "Read the cartoons. How about that? Before you send them out, read the motherfuckers." And yes, I curse a lot on here. Kevin knows this. And but they don't. They just the quality control is the issue. You know, it's like if you keep buying the same soft drink that somehow has bugs in it, you would want to stop drinking that soft drink, or you'd hire somebody to make sure bugs weren't in it. And that's how it is with the cartoons. They have not put anyone in charge of finding these things, or if they have, they suck.
Well,
Um,
I don't mean to
but Gary
pivot
McCoy is really
to
bad. You got to have somebody read Gary's cartoons before you put those things out, because he is the worst with the typos.
sure.
We all make typos. I'm not going to beat you up because you can't spell worth of shit. Walt Ham
Right.
is the worst at that, but you don't see a lot of typos in Walt's work because he always
Hmm.
had people catch them. And sorry, Walt, for picking on you, but your own editor wrote that in your book, so
Well,
that you're
I
allowed to
I
go in
don't
there. So, but that
I
was
don't
also in the '90s. Maybe he's better now.
I
But
don't think any
I love Walt, by
anyone
the way. Got to say that Walt's a
that was
mentor. Yeah,
I'm trying to be very strategic here. So
what you say.
I'm trying to speak up where I feel it's worth me speaking up, and nod along when I genuinely agree with you, but not add on with my own
Uh-huh.
fodder
Well,
where I don't
you
think
do
it's
that.
necessary.
But what
Yeah.
what do I think you should do? I think you should keep your eyes open and
Yeah.
learn, listen, keep doing what you're doing, do what you want to do. I don't think I can advise you to quit anything that you're doing right now.
Sure. Well, can I
The
also
stock stuff,
be
I can't advise any of that because that's not my area, and I
sure?
don't think I should be telling you what you should do with that stuff. I can really only advise. I can't tell you any life choices. You know,
Well,
okay, rugged.
can I
Uh,
also be super can I also be super honest with you? So I'm supposed
rugged.
to be yeah, I'll be super honest, and I think people can tell, so I don't really think this is any new
I can tell you rugged.
information. But I am supposed to make two cartoons a week for Kaggle, and I
Uh,
have not been doing that, and I feel really bad. And I'm a freelancer. I have done other work, and I have all these firms with contracts with firms to make money to support myself while doing work in a field that doesn't pay. And
yes.
I need that money to continue existing, especially now that I'm in New York and trying to build this cartooning career. In DC, frankly, there were just not the resources I needed to succeed. So I'm now paying much higher rent in New York. I can't stop working unless I want to lose my savings or go broke. And I am just really, I know there's things I could be doing better. And maybe Cable's listening to this. I know there's things I could be doing better. I am really struggling to get the two a week. And so that's on me. That's my problem. It bothers me that the site as a whole is being tarnished. And, the efforts that I take to try to meet that criteria are ultimately being tarnished by people who are being hateful or putting in typos or
Uh,
typing in their letters in an ugly way. If you type it in a pretty way, okay. If you're doing Comic Sans, you are
uh.
disgracing the industry. I'm
Well,
sorry.
I'll say this.
Yeah.
I think you're right in not being too critical of the Kegel stuff when if you're not gonna like fulfill what you're supposed to be doing, like the contract,
Hmm.
whatever, two a week. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I wouldn't raise my voice about things because
Right. Right.
meet the quota and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
I'm
Right,
also
I'm doing
a
nine
young
cartoons this
person,
week,
and
Alex. But
I'm also a younger person, and I'm grateful to be there. And friends have told me they've gotten rejected, so I want to be respectful of that and institutions that exist. The racism thing was an obvious problem, and maybe Daryl Cable just didn't see that one,
well,
and
here,
the other
let me
people, I
point
don't
this
know.
out. Let me make one
Yeah.
clarification. I do not in any way possible at all, one bit of me ever believe that Daryl is racist. Daryl is not. I've known him for a long time. Uh, I, 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 I I used to be friends with him. He was very nice to me in the past. He bought me a burrito in Honolulu,
Oh.
and and I've always gotten along with him at the conventions and such. But I don't like his business ethics at all, and the ethics
Hmm.
of journalism and the cartooning. And
Hmm.
but I've never seen any signs from him, unless you want to say him condoning this racism is
Hmm.
racist. But I never seen him personally come out and do crap like that. But he is. condoning it and just stepping aside. Just it's not a deal breaker for him. This is what it's
Hmm.
about Trump voters. Um, but racism is not a deal breaker for those guys. And
Sure.
but I don't think Daryl wants. I think Daryl just wants conservatives because I heard another story about well with him wanting conservatives. I'm not going to go into the rest of it. I want to talk to the
Hmm.
person who told me this. Even
Sure.
though he wrote it publicly on my blog in the comments. I still want to talk to him before I talk publicly about it because
Hmm.
I might bring it up at the convention, one of the panels.
Sure.
Um,
Well, like uh that's an ongoing issue too. Like in my opinion, the sheer garbageness of so many of the conservative cartoonists' work is contributing to ongoing disrespect of the field as a whole. um, a lot of the liberals make cringe cartoons or like more small hands cartoons. And
oh yeah.
there was somebody who came down on. So I made a post a while ago on Facebook saying I think cartoons should be respectful in that they don't make up things.
Yeah.
I never said they should be nice.
Uh,
Some people thought I
oh
was
yeah, I
saying
remember
they're going
that
to
one.
be.
I remember that one.
Yeah. I was saying that I think cartoons should give people basic respect by at least um, accurately reporting what they said and not making things up. I think cartoons should seek to have a point and not just to be cruel. I think that's how our field will gain more respect and how our cartoons will make more of an impact on people. And someone who, frankly, I think his work is mostly just about small hand stuff, and his ankles are swollen, and he's small and loud and mean. Called that ridiculous BS 4 or 5 times, and that has made me very upset.
Oh,
And it's like, if you want to draw things that are not going to
I think
contribute
I
to
know.
broader understanding, then let your
Yeah,
field
I
die.
think I
That's
know which
not my
cartoonist.
problem.
Yeah, I think I know which cartoonist you're talking about. One
Okay,
thing.
just don't say
Yeah,
his name.
I'm not. I think one
Okay.
thing for me,
You make
in
me really
regards
mad.
in regards
Yeah.
to the cruelty and stuff, to me, it's kind of like when someone introduces me at an event or to a person, they say it's his job to make people mad, and I laugh and go along with it, but it's not my job to make people mad.
Yeah.
It's not any political cartoonist's job just to make people mad, except
Yeah.
because they love to own the list. But here's my thing. It's not my job to piss you off, but if you do get pissed off, that's a happy byproduct for me.
Right.
That's a happy side effect. I am not afraid to piss you off. And
Right.
sometimes I do a cartoon, should have a point, but sometimes I'll break that rule because if I think the cartoon's just too funny, I'll say,
Hmm.
well, fuck it. I don't really have a strong point. Uh,
Right. Right. Well, then
but
that's
usually there
fine.
is a point with
But
that.
but
And the being
cartoons,
cruel to me is the point of depends on the person I'm hitting. You know,
right.
if they're
Well,
putting babies in in cages, I will be cruel to that motherfucker.
right.
So
So
Donald Trump's kind of off the rule chart for being cruel.
and cartoons that say that that is okay, cartoons that are hateful,
Yeah, fuck
cartoons
those
like that are girls,
Christians.
like, don't you dare give me that about how your field is dying and how you're such a martyr if you are going to contribute to the death of that field. Give me a
Oh,
break.
the
And you're
white,
ruining it for people like me
well,
with your garbage.
white Christians, especially white male Christians, and
Yeah.
especially the cartoonists, white male Christian conservatives act like they are the most persecuted segment
Yes.
in history.
Hmm.
And if you listen to Donald Trump, you know, they're coming to get me. It's so unfair and
Yeah.
crap. And he's called people racist, like
Hmm.
prosecutors and district attorneys, racist to come after him. And he doesn't understand that they can't be racist for going after him. He doesn't even understand racism,
Yeah.
which he's a big proponent of. He
And
doesn't
let's be
understand.
clear,
Yeah.
because let's be clear, like racism, I understand arguments that
Two
can
white people
only.
are going to explain racism to you, folks.
Okay,
Listen.
but hear me out. I'm going to do it in a tasteful way. I understand the argument I've heard from people, especially in college, that racism can only be perpetrated by the group in power versus the group that's not in power. Sure, but discrimination can be done within any group. It's a little bit more of a free for all. There aren't those
Discrimination
requirements.
isn't always racist. You know, there's
Correct,
also
100%.
biases and there's also prejudice. They can all be different things and the same
Yes,
thing at the
yes,
same time.
yes. Right.
Everything's complicated, you know.
At least,
Kind of
yeah,
like saying
exactly.
I
I'm
can't be
just
racist because I have a black friend.
right. And
Thurman,
that, yeah, that's a
fuck
whole
a black
thing.
woman.
Right. That's a whole thing. I'm just saying, like, no one is saying that maybe someone's not being mean to you, or no one's saying that maybe you're not being kept out of something because of X. But let's be clear about what that suffering, how that suffering compares to those of other people who are historically marginalized.
Right.
Let's not
And,
pretend it's the same thing.
and the court
So,
ruled that a company can't violate your civil rights through to taking you off a social media account or something like that. Or I don't remember the whole ruling. But if you were removed from a social media site, that's a private company. Uh,
mhm.
you can't complain discrimination or anything was violated. Your free speech definitely was not, because it's like this. If I go into Walmart and I yell the N-word all over the place, they can kick me out. It's their store, their rules. But they didn't censor me. They didn't violate my First Amendment. You can be an asshole, but
Right,
some people don't have to have that asshole in their house. Uh,
right, right.
that's kind of the thing.
Exactly.
That's what they don't get. So
And
they're like,
I
oh, they violated our rights, or they discriminated against us. But no, they didn't. Yeah.
yeah, and I think that the egg of a lot of this is just a desire to feel like you're the victim and a desire to feel like other people are to blame for your problem.
Now, here's the funny thing. The hypocrisy of this is
Yeah.
like, say they violated us by kicking us off these platforms because we're conservatives, or we endorse terrorists, or we said something racist, and
Uh-huh.
by taking us off violates our First Amendment right. Meanwhile, Donald Trump is trying to keep foreign students from universities, and he's tried to kick a couple out basically for what they said. I want to kick them out because they're pro Gaza.
Hmm.
Or even if they're pro Hamas. Here's the thing: if you're pro Hamas in this country, that's legal. It's bad, but it's legal. I mean, and they detained them without any charges for over a month. Two people, one of them for writing an editorial in her college paper. But you're mad that you got kicked off X. You know, this is
Right.
this is the
I,
shit that pisses me off. It's gonna make me move to Canada or some shit.
well,
Oh,
it's just it's a lack of
yeah.
perspective, I think. Like to suggest that that kind of persecution is the same as religious persecution in some other countries, or same as like persecution of marginalized racial groups. Like, don't use that word. Like I said, use another word. If you want to use discriminated, I think that's also highly loaded, but at least have that one. I like prejudice. I like bias.
It's
That's fine.
funny that the people who did most of the discrimination in this nation's history are the ones screaming that they're being discriminated against because
Yeah,
they had
right,
pro-Nazi viewpoints on Twitter. Okay. So
right.
anyway, I just mentioned moving to another country. Why were you in England?
I was visiting a friend and going on like a West End splurge. And then I actually bought this jacket at a thrift store right next to
Oh, that's perfect.
yeah, one of the theaters. Yeah, thank you. It's cool. It sparkles.
No, my favorite was a cheap plug. This pink shirt was $7 in Carlsbad.
Wow, I hope we should screenshot that. But yeah, that was cool. And then also like I moved to New York in November. And I the friend who lives out in the UK had been asking me for a while to come out there and get to help get to experience her like college life right before she graduated. And I thought that that was a good time because moving to New York, stay with me, has always been the dream. And now that I've been here for a few months, I wanted to just check in with myself. Like, am I making the decisions I want to be making? Am I moving towards my goals? My goals have changed a
You're
little
about to
bit.
move to London, aren't you?
'Cause- no, no, well, no.
You
So,
said no, no, no.
there,
Well, no, no.
there was a part of me like thinking, what if I am scouting? Like, what if I realize in 2 years that this actually was a trip where I was scouting out possible places to live? I
I
like
did that last
Camden.
year.
I like Camden a lot. I think I would move to Camden if I had to choose a place in London to move to.
I
But
I did the
yeah.
same thing. When I
Oh
went
yeah, yeah, you
when I
went
went to
there. Nice
London last
flag.
year,
Nice flag.
I yeah, I kind of scouted London for that. I didn't really think about it with Liverpool or Edinburgh or Belfast, but when I was in Dublin, I kind of scouted Dublin too because after I was talking to people and I actually made friends, I still talk to them, which is cool. I'm here for like 2 nights and I made friends I'm still talking to a year later.
Cool.
Uh, so uh, getting to know the people was one thing, and that kind of is like, well, that's really kind of cool. And
Yeah.
I think about it, it's extremely hard. I'm not going to do it, but I wouldn't mind doing it for a while at least. But I still
Right.
think about it. But I also think about moving to Chicago or DC and shit too.
Yeah.
But I'm tired of this town,
I think you'd
honestly.
enjoy New York. I think there's a lot
Yeah,
personality
but
wise that would match up.
how do you afford it?
How
Tell
many
me what says
people,
8 million
by the
people
way,
live there. They're not all rich,
how
but
many people view these videos? So just curious.
well, I'm not
How
making
many
money with it.
viewers did the last one have?
I don't know because I think I put it on YouTube. I don't get a lot of hits on YouTube, but I mostly used it for my Substack. And by the
Hmm.
way, you can too. You can do it anytime you want. I'm not asking you to embargo it, nothing like that. You can do this. And I tell this to everybody that I'm going to interview on these Zooms if they haven't hung up yet. Uh,
Yeah, sure.
you
I
can
want to
you
fix
have
the
to,
the Kegel cartoon thing. I'm really embarrassed about that, and I feel bad that that that's happening.
do a
It's
week.
just I can't even begin. It's really hard
Have you
to
thought
do
about
it.
just crapping them out because a lot of them are doing that and you can just get away with it?
I
Yeah.
would rather, okay, maybe this is the wrong idea. I would rather do what I'm doing than crap them out like others are doing.
You
I,
mean
I
you want quality control over your work? And the
Right.
irony is
I'm
that you do
trying
it
to
for
do it for
Kegel.
myself.
No,
So again,
no, I'm the same way. Yeah.
I'm not throwing blame off of I need to I just freaking do it. But I think the world would be better without some of the cartoons that people are making, period. I think
That is true. Sorry, I
so
forgot a rock on my floor. I was like, how did that get there? I get
yeah, and
um
I'm aware of my own tendency to be highly cringe, and yes, I'm letting fear get in the way, sure.
well, here's
Um,
the other thing. Well, first off, you got to stop being scared. You got to
okay.
put your opinion out there. Say what you want. You will put out opinions that later you think, well, I don't agree with that anymore,
Mm-hmm.
or I could have done this better. Abby, I look at cartoons that I did 6 months ago, and I'm like, what was I even talking about? I don't even know the subject is for this cartoon, but I
Right.
knew it then. And stuff. I mean, things change. You forget that the news trends. Something that you did a year ago may not apply now. I mean, that happens all the time. The one thing I
Mm-hmm.
noticed, there was some like artwork changes, and
Mm.
I cringe from this contest time when we put the packages together. And
Right.
it's like I drew that 6 months ago, and it looked like I drew it when I was 14, as you said earlier. It's
Well,
only
and
something
like
easier than
quickly,
14.
like there's this page I've just discovered. It doesn't seem like it has that many followers, but there's a certain page on Facebook that posts a lot of the most racist cartoons and says, "This is horrible. This is really racist. Terrible. The people who made it should be ashamed." And then on the
Give
same
me a link to
page,
that.
and then on the page, oh, you know it. And
Oh,
on
dude.
the page,
Is it
and in
cartoon stinkers?
the same feed, they'll also say these cartoons that are correct in their assertions are based on outdated tropes. Bad. Also very bad. And they have the same ranking system where they just relabel the number of ratings they give, but they
Skunked.
just choose a different adjective.
Is it
And
the
oh,
skunk
look,
page?
I understand why. I understand that saying like these cartoons aren't advancing the industry because they are not that good. That is so different from these other cartoons are hateful and are actively doing
Yeah.
harm. That is completely different. And I dread having a cartoon on there in the same breath on that page as like the McGraw and Cox one.
Okay.
Like that is awful. And I think that page should not be posting cartoons that it believes are factually correct, but are just not particularly creative. Like, are you kidding? So
Um,
anyway, that's added a little bit, and not blaming them. This is my own fault. Just saying that mentally, I've been thinking about that lately as I struggle with it.
okay.
So
Cartoon advice time. Um,
please do.
unsolicited, but now kinda.
Yeah, fine.
Don't care. Don't care about those critics and stuff. I mean, I read that kind of stuff when they criticize my cartoons out of enjoyment. Uh,
Mm.
sometimes when I share a cartoon or share some criticism, like I'll screen cap it, people will come, "Oh, don't worry about that, Clay. You're a good cartoonist." And it's like you misunderstood me. I'm not worried about it. I'm laughing at it. And when those pages
Right.
do that, the only thing that I argue is when they say something about me that's just not, when I think there's some issue. But like there was inaccurate or whatever. When I was in Honolulu, we had a lot of media there, and this magazine described one of my cartoons, and it started this article about like this union leader or union president in Hawaii. And it describes this cartoon I did, and it goes into this. The story doesn't mention me. It's all about. Wasn't about me, but it described this cartoon, but that published like a week before, but it didn't, and I was high as a kite, just like, wow, I got mentioned in this magazine. I'm like 30 years old, so like kind of a baby in it, but full grown man, but still kind of a baby about it. And I was really excited that it had mentioned me, but it had misdescribed the cartoon, and that was like
Mm.
my only issue. Funny thing though, we had this one bar next to the newspaper, and there was two newspapers in our building. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
back then we larger cities had joint operating agreements and they would share resources, competitors. And I did not describe it the best I could, but shortly that. So we're in the same building and there's a bar next door, a restaurant, and politicians, judges, lobbyists, journalists would go there. And after five, that bar was packed with a lot of people and people like me and shit. And I'm meeting.
Right.
And I'm sitting at this large table with a bunch of journalists. Of course, I know some of them because they took me there. And then somebody goes, "Hey, Clay, remember that article in Honolulu magazine?" Yeah, of course I do. It's just there was a guy
Right.
who wrote it, and the guy looks at me like, "Oh my God, you're like a baby," because I'm at 30 years old. I look like a baby. And I said, Man, that was really cool. Except you didn't describe the cartoon right." And what didn't I do? And I was trying to remember how he described it, but I did, and I told him why he messed up. And then later
Right.
he had to call me just to look at it and look at what he wrote. But my point is that was my only problem with him writing about me, and I didn't even care if he criticized the cartoon.
Yeah.
Uh, Dong should get it right,
Right.
misdescribe it. You can hate my work. Feel free to hate my work.
Right. I think what I'm asking for is
But don't care about the critics. You
I
have to
think
not
there's
worry
a
about that.
cosmic justice thing. It's like don't on the same page put things that are could be slightly stronger with things that are actively hurting the national psyche. Like that's
Oh,
all. And I don't need that right now. And I maybe I need to just not care. I will learn to not care with gradual practice over
yeah.
time.
We're
But
working on that.
I would like to think that the precious efforts and having this be my third job and the pains associated with that you can see, right? I want that effort to be worth it and not thought of as just more cringe, just more um crud lib stuff online. I
I
just
don't think you have to worry about that. Just
I
be
would
yourself.
like my time on this earth to be worthwhile and I want to give something. And this field is constantly mocked
Okay.
for just being a source of garbage.
Well, don't
And
worry
it's like,
about
is this what
two
I want to be doing right now?
things.
Yeah.
No one's going to worry 30, 40 years from now what you're drawing today. Um,
Really? It seems like it ruined some people's careers in
not
some
when you're
cases.
that young.
Okay.
Have you seen any cartoons from Herblock's first year or McNally's? I'm sure you can dig them up and stuff, but
Hmm.
and they probably were awesome at the same time. But I mean,
Hmm.
if you find an old best of book, you'll find stuff from, say, our friend Jack. Jack
Hmm.
will tell you that he was a McNally clone. You look at Jack's stuff then, and maybe that should have killed his career, or maybe that should have just people shouldn't have taken him seriously as just because he was just out of college, very young, and he wrote about this. He wonders why he was successful, with the early stuff, and he was making a lot of money at the time with it,
Hmm.
and he was in Newsweek and shit like that.
Right.
But nobody looks at that stuff anymore. They don't look at Jack's 1979 cartoons or 1969. How old are you, Jack? Anyway, um, but people are looking at what Jack draws today. And when 100 years from now, when Jack's gone, people are probably going to be looking at the stuff that he did in the later mid stages of his career. Probably mostly this era of the Trump era, because this is probably the most important work we'll do in our lives. And I just realized I just retracted what I just told you when I said nobody's going to worry about what you're drawing today. Because guess what? I guess they are because it's the Trump era. And you know what? Because it's the Trump era, you need to be doing at least two a week because this is the most important time of your life.
Okay. And this
Possibly,
is
unless we got something worse after Trump, God
sure.
forbid, this might be
Genu
the most important time of your life to draw political cartoons.
genuine question. And I am fishing a little bit, but I really want to know. Like, what could I possibly have to say that could be useful right now? Like there are people like you, and this is real. I'm not acting. What could I possibly have to say? Look at Cal. He's never won a Pulitzer, but he should have won six of them. Like look at his work. Look
Only
at your
five.
work. Look at Kevin's work. What could I possibly have to contribute to the conversation as a 25-year-old? My brain, I think this year has finally stopped growing. Like what could I possibly have to say?
Mine's-
I don't know.
Um,
So,
well, I've been doing this for
I don't want
35
to waste
years.
people's time by suggesting that my work is worth theirs when it's not, you know?
Well, we don't say that usually. Well, I guess I'm not the best cartoonist in the country, and I'm probably not the funniest. The best what I'm going for, and right now I just want to begin the conversation. Uh,
Mhm.
that's the best I can hope for is to be in the conversation. Someone else
Hmm.
talked to me the other day and they said Clay sucks just as much as Clay Bennett and Mike Lukovich. And I was like, oh, that's good company. Thank you. And I thanked them. That pissed them off. Thank you so
Right,
much for putting me with those two guys. You rock.
right,
But
right.
I ask myself that same question every morning. What can I say, that contributes something? And I think every
Sure.
cartoonist, I bet Cal asks that question every day. And Cal's been doing it for a little while.
Hmm. Hmm.
Still brilliant. I mean, his artworks. Cal's been doing this for like 50 years or so, and the artwork is just as detailed and passionate as if you go back when I met him in like 1991 or something. And that's what you have to hope for. Uh,
Hmm.
that you can do that. People are going to be talking about Cal for a long time, even without a
Hmm.
Pulitzer. At this
Hmm.
point, he doesn't need it. I mean, I'm sure he'd like to get it.
Well,
Um,
it
I like to.
seems unjust that he's done
It is
all of this,
unjust.
and that
It's
what
unjust, and
he
every
was.
cartoonist will agree with you on that too about Cal
Yeah, yeah,
having it.
and he was nominated that year. They didn't choose someone, right?
I don't
Like,
remember.
I want to throw
I
a
know he's
rock.
been. I know he's in
So,
finals. Everybody's been
yeah.
nominated. Um, as a finalist, that's important. Um,
Oh, right. Like he
yeah,
was a finalist. Right,
yeah.
sorry. Yeah, he was
It
a
was,
finalist that year that they didn't choose
yeah,
anyone.
right.
Yeah,
Well,
that is
maybe I don't
so horrible. Who
remember.
is on that committee? Who's choosing these
And
things?
well, actually, I don't know if
Yeah.
it's yeah. I know that there's a bunch of judges and it goes to committee or something like that. I don't understand it. Jack
Uh-huh.
knows it more than I do. Ann Tellis knows it better than I do.
Uh-huh. Like
Sure,
they're
Cal
not
knows better than I do.
cartoonists.
You
They're
know,
not cartoonists that are on the not to say that you have to be a cartoonist to be a good judge of political cartoons. Not to say that,
yeah.
but how do we know that these people are qualified? Where are their credentials? If they're going to stay in a closet,
Well, the publisher tells you who the judges are and their credentials, and
who
a lot of other cartoonists do that too. I don't know if like the National Headliner tells you who the judges are, but
sure
I
the
think
Pulitzer does or doesn't?
publisher does.
Oh, okay. Well, great.
It tells you
Um,
who's on the committees and stuff. I don't know if it tells you who particularly judged that cartoon. This is all messed up in my head now.
oh,
Uh,
and
and
look,
I
if their
and you know
names
who
are out
does the
there,
her block? The
if
her
their
block
names
lets
are
you
out there, I
know.
retract.
Yeah.
So,
The her block lets you know who they are. And they tell you, who they are, who they work for, where they've been, and all that stuff, their experience. Um, but last year's I can't remember now. But yeah, the her block's really good about letting you know who did it. And it's
that's good.
on that winning page. The publisher is on their website of who's on the committee this year, but I don't know if it says who's judging each contest, whatever. But it goes to that committee at the end. Uh,
Okay.
and like one year, it was when Steve Breen won. And I think Conrad and McNally were two of the finalists. There were three finalists. Those two were finalists, and it was at the end of both of their careers. And there's one other person I can't remember. And the committee, when the judges sent those three finalists to the committee, this is like 1997, 98. I had just
Hmm.
arrived in Virginia,
Hmm.
and the committee said, pick another cartoonist. We don't like these three. We don't think these are good enough for the Pulitzer this year. And remember, one was McNally, one, and another was Paul Conrad,
Hmm.
Giants.
Oh,
And
by the way, I had a counselor at my church for a while, and then
uh,
one day she comes out and says, "Yeah, my dad was Paul Conrad."
oh,
So,
that's pretty cool.
I know,
Yeah.
she has so much information about me.
But the judges, yeah. So they send it back to the judges, and the judges
Yeah,
send them Steve Breen, and
yeah.
Steve's a really cool guy and stuff. And
Hmm.
I like Steve. I'm gonna stop right there, but no, I'm not. Steve, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Sure.
Sorry, I sat next to Steve in San Francisco. I love Steve. Steve's the nicest guy. He's the nicest guy I ever met in this industry, or nobody's nicer than him. But I'd say the same thing about me. If they had sent me, I'd like thank you for this Pulitzer, thank you for this money. But come on, Paul Conrad and Jeff McNeely, and they were
They
still kicking it.
denied my counselor slash friend's dad a Pulitzer for stupid
If
reasons.
I was one of the judges, if I
Whoa.
was one of the judges, but I mean. I probably would have like didn't wouldn't have agreed with that no matter who they would have picked, really.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
it's not it's like I want to criticize selection, but I don't want to criticize Steve. Steve's a great cartoonist. He does really good local stuff. He gets really detailed and stuff. So see, now I got to say nice things about him. Because I don't mean anything bad about the dude. I'm not trying to make people think bad about somebody in that aspect. Um,
Well, can I ask you a question?
no, no, that's
Why
what
do
we're
you
doing this. We're not interviewing each other. We're just having a
why do you feel so comfortable? And maybe just be for yourself, but maybe why do political cartoonists feel so comfortably being so open about their feelings about other
They're
cartoonists' work?
not. Just me. I'm it. The
I
more
mean,
I think
but
more are
think
becoming
about,
that way, maybe because I'm opening my big mouth and
well,
being
think
hurt.
look at Margolis and Cox sending you snarky comments on
Oh,
Twitter.
but those
Like,
guys are certified assholes, and and they didn't go after other cartoonists. They just went after me because I criticized them first.
sure. Well, look at
It's fair.
the comment section of lots of like Jack
Yeah,
Omen's Facebook posts, and you'll see all the trash talking, right?
from other
Why
cartoonists.
it is a thing, I promise.
From other
Why
cartoonists. I gotta go read that. Jack's become more like I don't give a fuck, but he's also told me recently, like you are like a rock star with this. I don't know if that's the word he used, but with just being able to criticize other cartoonists. I was
Mhm.
scared of it, but I'm just too stupid. I can't keep my mouth shut. If I was really smart, I wouldn't criticize anybody. I just go, like everybody else does. I mean,
Well, do you think I should be louder about those things right now? I try to be loud when I think something's really
it's a
heinous,
fine
but
line.
I'm worried,
Yeah.
at least for my part, about coming across as like a person who cried wolf. I don't want to be. I don't want to be like, oh, Alex is whining again.
Well,
Oh, she's
yeah.
always talking about how
I
people
can't
are.
tell you how you should do that, especially like you mentioned you were young. I don't know if you want to start your career by pissing off old guys, old men who do this. I am one of those old men, and if they don't like what I'm saying, they can do what Ted Rawl did, come and talk to me about it to my face. Shout out to
Okay,
Ted, because he did. He came to
you
me.
respect that?
I did respect that. I was in San Francisco, and he and I have been going at it, but at the same time, he had to deal with me to my face too.
Mm,
It went both ways, and so I criticized Ted because he was working for Russia. But here's the thing
mm,
that I don't do when I do this stuff. I've done this before, but now I have a rule. Like over the past few years, if I criticize a cartoon, it's got to be a reason. Not I don't criticize the cartoon because it's a bad cartoon.
mm,
Everybody draws a bad cartoon. Everybody, some people, that's all they draw bad cartoons. So I don't really criticize people because the cartoon sucks. I don't criticize people because their art sucks. I don't
mm.
criticize people because I don't like their style. There's several people whose styles I don't like, but I think they're still good cartoonists. I can understand how people relate to them.
Do you like my style?
I'm sorry,
Do you like my style?
I do, but I think it's still growing.
If you don't, it's okay.
No, no, I do, but your style is still growing. Your style is not planet yet because it's going to evolve now.
Yeah,
It's going to later on.
yeah.
I like your style,
Thank you.
but I wouldn't say it's done. You're not, I
Yeah,
wouldn't either. But
fair enough.
but I'm more
Yeah.
consistent. You're not going to be consistent from today with what you're doing 10 years from now. I don't think.
No, I'm
Or
not. Yeah.
even next week maybe. But because it can change fast. But when I criticize somebody, I try to have a legitimate reason, like with Ted Rawl. I didn't criticize his cartoons. I didn't criticize his ability. Now, when he yelled back at me, he told me I was a shitty cartoonist, and I didn't respond to that because I don't have to at this point. It's fair to call me shitty cartoonist if you're going to, but he took it out of the context. It's kind of like Margulis and Cox. They told me the same thing. You can't draw. What's this got to do with you being a racist? Uh,
Again, like, so
I
you
didn't
admit
criticize
it.
their artwork. I didn't,
Yeah.
but after that, I did criticize their ability to write ideas, mostly because I don't think there should be tag teams doing this cartooning thing. And so I
Uh-huh.
criticized
But
them with that. Well, like I said earlier, if you need two guys to write cartoons and stuff, and you're just going to come up with the same cliches and cartoons people already done, then you don't need a writer. Um,
mhm.
but so I try to criticize on the context, like with the anonymous cartoonist. Um, criticize him being anonymous. I did criticize his art and that he's just stealing his art because he stole a style. He's not influenced. He stole a style that belongs to someone else. And I criticized that. And every cartoonist in this country, they don't speak about it out loud, but they criticize that. But so when I criticize people, I try to make sure that I'm criticizing them for something that is fair and honest, not because my opinion is that they suck. Um, but here's the funny thing: a lot of cartoonists they message me stuff that they have a disagreement about with another cartoonist, and they're kind of hoping that I say something. I usually don't because it's not my problem or something. And recently, or I may not have enough information. Someone last year sent me some information about a syndicate and some inside turmoil from the people who draw for it, and and they told me like wink wink nudge nudge because they was hoping that I would run with it, but I didn't have all the facts.
Good for you.
So I didn't publish any of it because I didn't, and I only had the facts from one side. Uh, so I didn't have them all. It's a little bit different for me to criticize Kagel uh, for for running these racist cartoonists because I know he's running racist cartoonists. I have all the facts. All the
Right.
facts that I need to say that he's publishing racist cartoonists.
Yeah.
Those are the facts. And it's not my opinion these guys are racist. They're racist. Um, with the kind of when you draw a black person with big giant lips and say, "Well, I'm making her a clown," but there's no clown makeup or nothing like
Right.
that. There's no wig, so it's bullshit. And even the black conservative on the Supreme Court that he also drew didn't have all those weird ass features. Um, but yeah, I just try to make sure that the criticism is fair. I really don't want to go to a convention and have a fight with the guy or whatever. I would talk to him. Like when Ted came to me, he said hi, I said, hey. And then later we had this lunch and he's sitting right across from me. This restaurant had service there in this alley and he sat right across from me and I looked up. I was like, oh, fuck, talk to me. And I
Right.
really talked. And
Well,
then
you
he
know,
pointed some things out, but then I pointed some things out to him that he said that was wrong. And I had issues with that. And then he had to backtrack and make an excuse for it. Yes, if you're watching Ted, that's fine. But I don't care. We already had it up. So, but
well, I think you're kind of special in that way because you have
uh,
the energy and passion of internet trolls who don't know what they're talking about, but you actually know what you're talking about. Like you're bringing rage back in style. You should put that
the
on
cool
your like
rage.
LinkedIn tagline, bringing rage back in style from and then link to my page. So
Message me that, maybe. Oh, then the link
yeah,
to your page.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No, seriously, that's special. Because when I see somebody who cares deeply about something on the internet, honestly, my first instinct is to go, they don't know what they're talking about. They are to be avoided. And it's great to know that someone actually is being furious with a reason.
Well,
That's
there's something
great.
else that I try to
Yeah.
keep conscious of is not to be bitching all the time.
Yeah.
Just like all you hear from me when I talk about this industry is just to complain or call people. I do that more than anyone else, yes, but I also try to call out the stuff that I think is good, that I think is
Hmm.
great, and
Hmm.
whatever. Right? Sometimes I don't do it publicly. Like I emailed or text Matt Davies last week to compliment his shark. He drew this shark that I was just like, it was a great idea too. And I was like, oh, I did not think of this idea. It's so good. And we're both shark lovers. And so I just wrote him to say that's a great shark. And that was the whole conversation. Thank you. Ah, it's a good shark. I love sharks. And that was it. But
Right.
sometimes like Lala would do something and I think it needs to be pointed out or whatever. So people are getting bolder starting to like Chris Britt. He joined in on calling out the racist. Lalo has been
That's good.
a little while, and Mark Murphy and Kevin Necessary both came in to make comments about it. But you don't really see comments from the guy, most of the people who's been doing this for a really long time. They just don't. And I think it's not because they don't care, but just because they don't want to get in trouble or they just don't want to get dragged into a fight. Yeah, I don't want to be the guy that if you're bitching all the time, when you come back and you have a legitimate complaint, like crying wolf, they're just gonna be like, ah, it's Clay again. What's he bitching about now? But everybody loves to watch a good fight. You don't
Mm.
get the boxing ring, but you watch the fight. And no, a lot of people don't want to get in the ring with me. So and like Daryl Cagle don't want to get in the ring, and he's taking some of the punches. I'd welcome his response to everything I say.
Well, honestly, I had my reservations about joining certain syndicates because I didn't want to disappoint you. So-
And you did.
but I did anyway because I decided it was the right decision. But let it be known that I stopped him for a second before I delayed like a year and a half before I sent that email
Okay,
saying, "Can
appreciate
I
it.
join your syndicate?" So, and it wasn't just for you. Obviously,
Oh,
you were
that's
just
good. I don't want
of
to be.
no, no. That was just one of like seven things.
Yeah,
So.
many people don't like that syndicate.
No, mostly just because I was busy and didn't want to
Oh,
join at a time. And I thought, okay, well, if I join now, then I'll force myself to do it. And, no time like the present, stop procrastinating, something like that. So, but anyway, yeah.
anyway,
Uh, yeah,
so
I appreciate your style. And you give me hope for people with passion on the internet.
well, that's the thing. Like you're talking about two a day, and uh, to do this, or people who don't really make a lot of money, like where can I go? Uh, you got to have passions to do this job and stuff. And also, I want to push you to go work for a local publication. I know you're in New York City, but I bet you could draw local cartoons for somebody. And that's what I advise every young cartoonist, because that's where you really cut your teeth is on local cartoons.
Yeah, for sure.
But I know it's
Well,
hard to get in, convince an editor to run me and stuff, but a lot of especially smaller papers might just welcome it.
Yeah, well, I need to check my Kaggle contract again because
That one.
there's one publication that is in Brooklyn that continues to pick up my work. Like every single time I do a
The
cartoon for
Brooklyn Eagle,
Kaggle.
right?
Yeah, and they
They used to be a
every
client of mine.
who? What?
The Brooklyn Eagle was a client of mine for
Oh yeah, you're right,
like
exactly.
about almost a decade ago. It's been a while.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's great. Well, they keep publishing every single thing I do. I thanked them on Twitter and I think they
You
retweeted
should
it.
do that. Yeah.
And look, I will check my contract first, and I have other things with working through a platform for tutoring that where I can't go outside the platform. Like I imagine that it's the same with Kaggle. But if there is a way contractually that I could make things for them special in addition
Yeah.
to working through Kaggle, then wonderful. I doubt that I can.
Lego has no say
But
in that. I can tell you right now, if you can draw cartoons that are not for Kaggle, even if it takes a client from him, you can do special stuff for other people. There's no
okay, I
syndicate
don't
that
want to
can
hurt
stop you.
Kaggle.
You're not going to hurt him. I wouldn't worry about that. And he can't tell you that you can't work for the Brooklyn Eagle. If the Brooklyn Eagle says, yes, you can draw local cartoons for us, or even national cartoons, they say, we want cartoons just for us. Cable
hmm
can't stop you from doing that. No syndicate can. And I'm sure Cable will probably tell you the same thing. Hopefully,
Okay.
tell you that.
I'll check my contract, but that would be cool
Don't worry
because
about it.
they have a huge
I
reach.
advise you not to read that contract. No, I wouldn't worry about it.
I'm already not making enough cartoons. I don't want to commit another sin. So
Well, if you do commit to
yeah.
that, I would say you definitely have to point it out. But here's the other thing. If Keiko got so mad about you drawing local cartoons for a newspaper, you probably wouldn't lose any money because you probably make more drawing for that paper. And if you want to talk to me later about what you should charge them, we'll have a private conversation about that.
They're
And
Brooklynites, so they're going to be rich unless they're young people. But
but
old
they're
Brooklyn
also in the
people,
newspaper industry, so I don't know.
yeah, right.
You
Well,
may not be rich.
they publish a frightening number of cartoons every single day, and if they are paying
Are
Kaggle
they daily?
syndication it's like a publication online. So
Okay, so they are daily.
well, they're called the Brooklyn Daily Eagle. So,
Yeah. Oh,
so,
okay.
but I don't know if
I
that only applied to like their
I
former
have
form.
clients now that I know are online, but with a lot of them, I don't even know if they're in print still, but
Mm,
they're online and stuff. And I have to ask, I was asking myself that about the Boca Raton Tribune, which is a client of mine, and I've drawn two local cartoons for them, one this morning.
wow.
Uh, I woke up at 2 a.m. to finish a cartoon because they asked for it by 11. And
Oh,
when they asked me at 4 p.m. yesterday, can you get this tomorrow at 11 a.m.? I was like, oh my God. I got to write two blogs and do my Ozzy Osbourne cartoon still, and I had just finished a cartoon. So,
oh,
so I went to bed early, like at 10, and I woke up at 2 and I did the cartoon. And then I
I'm
went,
curious. How long does it take you to do an average cartoon?
well, I got up at 2. I finished it about 5. I know there's some procrastination, so let's say it's between 2 to 3 hours normally. When I do something with a million Easter eggs, and my viewers know what I'm talking about, it could take 5 hours or so.
Mm,
But Ramirez has a lot of little tiny details in all his stuff, but I guarantee you he doesn't take 2 hours to his cartoons. I've seen him personally draw in front of me. He's a great artist, so he can do that. So he can just dive in and not take as long as it looks. Uh,
right.
and that was a long time ago that I saw him draw, so I could be misspeaking. I can't speak for the guy. But cartoonists normally don't spend more than 3 hours on a cartoon. I don't think. I think I'm the weird one for that, especially since I'm not the best artist. Maybe I spend more time on my cartoons because I'm not the best artist, you know. Uh,
Right.
I am a sloppy artist. I know that. Uh,
Well, one reason I dread working on new cartoons is that it usually takes me between 4 and 6 hours. And
yeah,
that feels bad. That feels too long.
it is.
That Elon Musk one I just did took 3 hours. Because I
Well, I
didn't
might tell you to spend more time on it, Rob Rogers, because he can do that.
he takes how long?
No, I don't know, but I was at Worker's house. It was the night before the Herb Blocks. Lalo had won, and Rob took me aside along with someone else and said, "You need to spend more time on your art. You need to spend more time drawing your card.
No,
You
your
spend 4
style
times."
is perfect.
And
I
then
love
the
it.
next day, I won the RFK award, and I was told the person I beat was Rob Rogers. But those are judges. That doesn't mean I'm better than Rob Rogers at
No,
all. Rob has won a lot of contests. He's been a Pulitzer finalist, but he
right.
about that. Last night I told you to do this and that, and then I said, "Yeah, but you might be right." that should spend more time on it and stuff like that. I
Sure.
I love Rob. Rob's one of the best cartoonists we have,
Right. Well, one thing I'm trying to work on is having stronger ideas and thinking less about the art and more about the ideas because I know that's where
Yeah.
I tend to be weaker. I'm sure that there are less complicated things to draw um, that will take that will be just as impactful, if not more so. So that's something I
Maybe. Look at Joel's work. Joe
Joe Heller.
Pett. No, Joel
Oh,
Pett. Like
yeah.
young Joel Pett. He would tell you that he's not a great artist and stuff like that. And his cartoons carry a huge impact. You know,
Okay.
and
Sure.
I hope mine do too. But
They do. I
I'm not telling
realized
you to. I'm not telling you to lay off the art and just be a sloppy cartoonist.
No, no,
Yeah.
I understand. Well, I just came actually from working with two of my reading students who are like in third grade and kindergarten, and they're both obsessed with the Dogman books by Dave Pilkey. And it occurred to me like a couple months ago that your style looks a lot like his and like
Who?
the Captain Underpants guy.
I saw that movie with
Yeah, yeah, with Weird Al's song about Captain Underpants.
yeah, and I had that one comedian, the short guy, whose name
Danny DeVito?
no, he's not a comedian.
Oh,
No, the short black dude. Who's on
oh,
every
oh,
commercial.
oh, 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 oh,
He's on the credit
not
card
Chris
commercial.
Rock, not Chris
Not
Rock, the
Chris
other one.
Rock. Yeah.
The Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's funny in commercials. He's not funny as stand-up. I don't get it. You know?
He's yeah. He cheated on his wife and did a
He's,
whole bit about it
uh,
and even though he was saying he was sorry,
and
I
I was about to
lost all
say he's a likable person. It's like when
yeah,
I see him in movies and stuff, I like him, but he's just not really that funny. Normally, I did
right.
like him in the Will Ferrell movie, The Prison.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
So,
Right.
what was I going to ask? Where were we going before that? Before we got on to Kevin Hart, whose name I just almost.
Oh goodness, I don't know. I don't
Anyway,
know anymore.
I have something for you.
Oh,
We're gonna end this in a minute, unless you can think of something else about political cartooning you want to talk about before we end this.
um, do you think
You want
that
to talk about Kevin Gallagher, how much he sucks, right?
yeah, oh good Lord. I'm going to the Rubens, but I'm mad at how expensive it is. And $300 is so much. So
What's the 300 for?
it's the admission.
Okay.
It's 300 and I think it's less. I paid less than I think it normally is. I think it's normally like 390 and
Yeah,
I bought some
Rubens
other
are
ticket.
expensive. They
Yeah.
must have a much larger turnout. A lot of their people being comic strip guys and other parts of. Let me explain it
Mhm.
to people real quick. Uh, Viewers, the National Cartoonist Society is its own thing, and it encompasses every style of cartooning, from comic books to film to comic strips, greeting cards, political cartooning, and they are expensive to go to their conventions. I've never
It's
been
so
to one.
much.
Alex is going
$300
to
is
one.
so much
This girl right
money.
here. I hope you're on the
Okay.
left when I or viewers left whenever they see this. But I'm gonna look like a moron. But it is expensive. They're hard to go to. And last year it was in San Diego, I think. I have never been to one. I've been
Mm.
in this business for 35 years. I've never gone to one. I'm going this year. It's my first one. But as
Oh,
a
you are? I'll see you then. I'm
maybe,
going to,
maybe because I'm only going for one day. Uh,
oh, okay.
they
I'm
had this
going.
special thing where you could just go for this or that, and so I'm going. I can go to all the sessions. I could stay, just attend all the sessions, go to the happy hour. But I spent $100 just to go to the happy hour. I think it's a good investment, or maybe if not, yeah. But I'll only be in Boston for one night, and it's expensive. I mean, this 100, and I got a cheap air flight too, so that's not too bad. But
Okay.
it was cheaper than a train. So,
Really?
but
That's
the
crazy. Did
NCS
you
is
use like credit card miles or something?
no, I use just Expedia.
Oh, all right.
I'm not loyal to one aircraft. I'm an airline slut. I'm flying to Germany on Iceland Air in
Wow.
October.
Cool.
So, oh, I haven't talked about this trip. It's
Oh my
I
goodness.
gritted my teeth with everything that I spent on it, and I do everything as cheap as I can. See, now we just segued into something else. Um,
Well,
but
I'm
yes,
thinking of going back to the UK for a week in October because
that's where I'm
there,
going, and I will be in the
really.
UK. Yes.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, there's two conventions that are 1 week apart from each other, and I'm thinking I'll
Oh,
fly up on a Friday, go to the conventions
and you
Friday
have
to
a place to
Sunday.
stay though. You don't have to do hotel money.
Well, I have some friends I think I'll be
Great.
staying with. So
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing another my last big trip. I never left the country until I went to Canada for that convention, and it's something I've always wanted to do. I've always dreamed about traveling, but never got off my ass and did it. And now save up, live in a cheap studio apartment, and with this is just one room, people, you know. And I'd show you the rest, but I don't want to. And so you live cheaply, you don't own a car. I don't own a car. I'm talking about myself, and don't have car insurance and all that stuff and or gas and car payments. Live cheaply, have low utilities. I go to Europe, and so yeah, I'm doing that. I went to the UK and Iceland and Ireland last year, and this time I'm doing a bunch of countries. But it's kind of like going from state to state to state. Uh,
Mm.
and I checked my bank account a couple of nights ago because gritting my teeth, like when I'm getting all this stuff and booking all these flights and these hotels, I'm just like, so I was afraid to look at my bank account, doing the math in
I
my head.
know, me too.
And then I
One thing
also did the
I
Boston stuff, and then did the Boston stuff, and I did our convention stuff at the same time. And then I added New York City after Boston because after Boston, I'm going to go spend the weekend in New York City and Queens, really. As I said, I do things cheaper. And now staying in Manhattan. So I'd hang out with you, but you'll be in Boston. And
Oh man. Yeah,
yeah.
well, I'll get back to you on the schedule because I think I might be coming back late that Friday or early Saturday. So
Okay.
yeah, maybe. We'll
Maybe I can
figure
see
it
you
out.
Saturday night or Sunday or something like that.
Yeah, and it's not
Oh, I
that
can take you
long
to the
of a
Bad
bus ride.
Donkey.
Yeah, yeah, right.
You don't
Yeah.
even know what that is.
No, no, I
Be
do not.
afraid.
I
As you
should
ever
be.
said, you're
I
not
should.
afraid. You will be.
You'll come and see the wig collection. Then you'll be afraid. So
Where? What?
come see my wig collection
Oh,
in my
I
house
am afraid
of
of your
wigs I
wig
have made.
collection.
You will be
If
afraid.
it's louder than the shirt, I'm scared. Um,
Yeah, yeah, right.
but yeah, I will introduce you to the bad donkey. But anyway, I was talking about,
Great.
I checked my bank account and after booking all these trips and hotels, and I was like, oh, I didn't hurt myself as badly as I thought. Everything on my trip to Europe is paid for by me, of course. Is paid for, except I haven't bought the trains yet because I'm still researching because there's so many different trains to choose from
Oh, geez,
in Europe.
cool.
Yeah, and in England I use Avanti West.
Mm,
So if you're in England, use Avanti. It's
okay.
not too bad. And
Noted for next time.
yeah, if you leave London and go to like just another city, but I might just use Euro or something. But anyway, I just haven't done my trains yet, and the trains can be expensive if you don't watch it, so you gotta be careful with
Mm,
that.
okay.
But yeah, I don't know if I should tell you all the nations yet, but yeah, go ahead. Maybe somebody would help me with trains if I mention it. Um,
I took a lot of trains when I was in the UK just then. I was exhausted of
oh, but
trains.
you're talking about the tube though.
No, I'm talking
No?
about I stayed with a friend in Exeter, and
Okay.
then I stayed in London, and then I was in Exeter again, and then I was in London again. And I took so many. They were like 3.5 to 4 hours apart on a train. So
What
I took so many trains.
you don't know what the train service was?
Huh?
You don't know what the train service was?
Oh, it was like the Great Western Railway,
Okay.
and
What's the name of that train station in London?
I mean Paddington, and there's so many. Paddington, Victoria.
I was at Paddington, going to Kensington, but
Oh, okay. I bought this at the Paddington station.
there's
It's
another one,
it's so
for
cute.
like when you go to the rest of the UK, you train out of there. This is gonna wake me up to tell you what's the name of that station. Jesus, someone's gonna mention it in the comments. But it's the main one. And I took Avanti. Avanti might be the one there. I don't remember, but I was going somewhere. Uh, okay, I'm flying to Berlin, and I didn't know where I wanted to start. I didn't really know where I was going. I thought I might just go to France and maybe some of the like Belgium and Netherlands and stuff like that. But I saw like $190 flight to Berlin in October, and I thought, well, I'm going to October on October 13th, whatever. And uh, and then just out like a wild hair, just let me look at price of a plane to Sweden. It'd be kind of cool to say I was in Scandinavia, even though I probably already was in Iceland. But it was $65. So I was like, hey, I'm going to Sweden. And so I'm going to Sweden, and then I'm going to train down to Denmark and through Germany again. I'm going to spend a night in Hamburg, and I'm going to have so much different food. And that's one half the reason I go. And night in Amsterdam, Brussels, and then a couple nights in Paris. And then because I was looking at the flights, and it's a lot cheaper to fly out of Dublin than
Mm.
Paris on this date for some reason, like $400 cheaper, and on the date that I wanted to leave. So I figured I'm gonna be in hotels anyway, so it doesn't really matter where I go. So I'm going back to London, but not as long as last time. Just a couple nights, see maybe the friends that I made last time, and then I'm gonna spend
You
2 nights in Dublin.
would you consider seeing any West End shows while you were in London?
Probably not.
Oh, because I have some suggestions.
Well, I guess Mel, he messaged me those. I'm not good at sitting down for 2 hours and watching.
Oh, okay. Then have I got the show for you?
You got a 25-minute show. I mean, I
Well,
go scroll by,
no,
like, oh, wow. Well, I mean, I got
there's
distracted by a rock on my floor 20 minutes ago.
I made a costume recently that was a crossover between Cats and the show. But they have a show that's about the six wives of Henry VIII, and it was originally like a fringe comedy show, like at the Edinburgh Fringe. So it's only 80 minutes. So it's a like a full West End show, full West End ticket price, but 80 minutes, and it's
Christ.
great. If you have dinner plans, it's great. Oh, and also West End shows have the option of buying a ticket at like half Broadway price sometimes. Like they don't give you a playbill, so they take that price out, and also they just make it cheaper for some reason.
I've
So
never
you
seen a
you
Broadway
have
show.
the option to buy tickets for the same price that you would here, but you can get them for like 40 or 50 in London if you book out long
Wow. Hey,
enough.
I have an idea.
Yeah.
I If I saw a play in New York, now we're just talking. If I
Yeah.
see a play in New York, say you and I went to one on Saturday, I would like to go to something off Broadway or even off Broadway, something kind
Okay.
of just something on a lark, maybe see a bad play. And I think I would love to be able just to say I saw something off Broadway and it was horrible.
Totally.
I want to do that. If you'd like to do that Saturday or Sunday night,
Totally.
it'd be
Absolutely.
cool.
Well,
Depending on the
uh
ticket prices.
so off Broadway is usually not that much cheaper than Broadway. So Broadway, of course, is the big name, and usually the theaters are a little bit bigger, like the actual stages are bigger. But Broadway and off Broadway are actually technical terms to describe the seating arrangement
Okay.
in the theater. Like the off Broadway theaters hold fewer people.
Okay, what about off? Or they have that, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can go see stuff in bars for 15 bucks. So,
That's
we'll
kind of
talk
up my
about it.
alley.
There are some comedy shows. Like I used to be sort of connected with the guy
Oh, we can
who
do that. Let's go see
yeah,
a comedian in a
like
club.
Gotham Comedy Club and New York Comedy Club and the comic strip. Those are all good.
I've
Um,
never been to those. There's a Gotham in DC, right? Or what am
there is
I thinking
there
of?
is a the DC Improv, and
Yeah.
there's another one, the name of which escapes me. Randy Feltface performed there.
How
It's
much do they
DC
cost?
Improv
How much
and
do they
the
normally cost?
DC Comedy Loft. That's the name of it.
How much do they
The
normally cost?
usually like 25.
Okay,
Yeah. Well, oh yeah, I'll send you some names. Maybe we can find someone who's touring that weekend and we can book early. Let's
that'd
take
be
it.
cool. I saw that
Yeah.
Janine Garofalo used to be big in the 90s. She does a lot of New York stuff. She lives.
Sure,
I would
yeah.
love to see someone like that, you know?
We could also like and it's a crazy difficult process, but we could put our names in for the SNL lottery and see what happens there if you
What
want to do
doesn't hurt?
that.
How do you put your name in for that?
Um it's awful. It's awful. I would need to
You put in
check.
for me, your boyfriend, and you?
Yeah, I
Are you guys together? I'm sorry. I'm
he
asking you in public.
he hates SNL.
Oh,
So he's like
well,
he thinks that like an SNL's a funny sketch on SNL is like extremely rare and maybe never has happened. So
oh, but
maybe the
anyway, yeah.
night I go and take him will be the night
Well,
that
rope him in. I don't want him to think I'm trying to steal you. So, that's what it means, trying to take me
dude
away from
miss
you,
yeah,
lover.
good thing he's not like as he is with some of my Zoom meetings, sitting on the couch listening. He's not here right now.
Well, I'm probably the guy
So,
he would not worry about. So,
yeah,
the way that's happening. Um,
oh my goodness.
so yeah, that would be fun. You know, I think I like the comedy idea better.
Okay,
I'd
sure,
really
yeah.
enjoy some stuff doing that, I think. Anyway,
Yeah,
I going to Europe. If you're in England when I am, maybe we do something like that.
totally. That would
Or
be such a
London.
fun photo op, you know?
It would be.
Yeah.
I'm staying in Kensington again.
Oh, I
Which
stayed
is
there
York.
when I was on my study abroad trip for 2 weeks in college.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it was great.
Right. You didn't stay at London House, did you?
Maybe I would need to go back and check the receipts. I
The
don't
bed
remember.
like this big.
Ooh, I don't remember the beds being awful. I don't know. I
I
would
will
have to
never
check.
forget how awful that bed was. It was the
I
worst.
think I
Oh,
don't think
yeah.
Georgetown would have done that to us.
And I'm
So,
staying at London House again just because I got such a great price. So I just may not be able to sleep. Uh,
right. Oh
So you
no.
can't even sit on the toilet without your legs sticking out of
Oh my gosh.
the
Oh,
doorway.
painful.
Yeah. Anyway,
I can refer you to a lady where the room price was really reasonable and
oh, I already got it. But
okay.
anyway,
Yeah.
anyway, I'm gonna tell you something.
Yeah.
Before I let you go, I have had this since I was a little kid. Not a little kid. Little,
Garfield.
yeah, I bought. My mom gave me this when I was like 14 or something like that, and I was a
Oh,
big fan of Garfield at that stage because I was still going through stages. First Peanuts, then Garfield, and then
right,
Johnny and Mad Magazine in there somewhere. But I really dug Garfield the first few years before it became so corporate. But
right.
my mom got me this obviously after it became corporate. Uh, but I decided to give it to someone a
Oh,
few years ago, but I just hadn't run
oh my
into
goodness.
her.
Thank you.
So
Oh,
I'm gonna put this in my bag. So I do
thank
bring it
you.
to Boston, but if I don't give it to you in Boston, I'll give it to you in North Bethesda. And
Thank
and
you.
so when I'm dead
Oh,
and gone, well, Garfield's watched me draw every cartoon at home and in my when I had office
oh,
newspapers.
that's so
So
cool.
you have to put him for the rest of your life where he can see you draw at your desk.
Oh, he'll
And
go next to the other Garfields that currently watch me
but this
draw
will be the most
because
important one because it's for me. And when I'm dead and gone, you will remember me from this Garfield.
for
So,
sure. And my
right.
other Garfields are gigantic plushies that are super unwieldy and don't fit
Oh,
on
you
my
can
desk.
horticulture with this. You can throw
Like that,
this.
yeah, that guy's
Yeah.
perfect. And I see a little slot. I have this really cool like old CD holder thing that I got via
Huh?
a Buy Nothing group, and I have figurines and snow globes in the slots. And there's one that's super small, and I haven't had anything that would be really good in there. And that Garfield is perfect to go right there. That's
Put it over
fantastic.
your desk, though.
And on my desk
He's
too.
got to watch you
So
draw,
in
or
my
somewhere in the room he can watch you draw.
total in my
Am
apartment,
I making a mistake with this?
no, 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 no,
No.
no. I have like four
Respect the
desks.
Garfield.
I have four desks in my apartment. So,
Okay.
by being near two of them, that is a win-win.
See,
Because
he's been here next.
there's two in my living room and
He's
two in
been
my
here for a
bedroom.
while next to my South Park gang. So
Oh, he's so cute.
I bought
No, yeah.
I
And
bought the whole gang and chef my first week in Virginia in 1998, and they're
oh
still
my goodness.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm at my dining table right now. I happen to gravitate to the dining table because I have this beautiful huge window in this room. It's a one bedroom. So I've got my dining room and then my bedroom and a bathroom. And my bedroom has like a desk that's mostly storage, and then one that's like a vanity where I bought it thinking, "Oh, it'll be
Your
fine at the
apartment's
desk."
bigger than mine, and you're in New York. You're supposed to
Because
be like living in a closet.
yeah, it's I found a place, an area in a weird secret part of Washington Heights, that where you can buy an apartment for the same price as a shoebox in like the Upper West Side, and it will be twice as big.
You're
So
in Washington
it's
Heights.
I am,
I
yeah.
didn't want to ask you what neighborhood you were in because I've been watching some Dexter this week, and
Oh yeah, yeah,
I
I'm
didn't want to
in
give your
Washington Heights.
stalkers any, even though there's like 1.5 million people in Manhattan. Yeah, I still didn't want to give them any clues as to where you might be. So now,
That's okay. Well,
okay,
I mean, I you can see which Facebook groups I'm in on, but I'm in a part of Washington Heights called Hudson Heights.
okay.
And it's this weird part right next to the Hudson River, and it's directly above the George Washington Bridge. And about 100 years ago, some guy came and said, "What if we built a bunch of castles here for some reason?" So there's like five or six buildings in this whole area that have turrets on them. So I live in one of the turret buildings.
Terrible. That's cool.
Yeah, and the guy who wrote Hamilton lives in a building that I can see out my window, which is
Are,
cool.
you can lie in case your parents watch, but do you live by yourself?
I do live by myself. Yeah,
Yeah.
I live with myself and my cat. So
Stalkers, but remember, we're a
yeah, well,
cat.
there's so many buildings and so many people here,
It
and
looks like a
you
castle.
you can see there's so many that look like us. Six, honestly, is an underestimate. I think there's more like
You,
15.
you know, if you get a committed stalker, though, none of that's gonna like sway them. Oh, there's six guys.
Well, there was a guy actually in the neighborhood who was on like CBS for being a stalker, and they
In
got
New
him.
York City?
Like,
They
They,
found one.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there was a guy who was like terrorizing women in our neighborhood for a long time, and they did finally get him. So if something were to happen, it might take a while, but it will happen eventually. So,
It might take a while, but one
yeah.
way or another is going
Worse, I
to
can
get
throw
you.
my cat at the guy and he'll
Oh, that'll
so,
suck. Because once
or he'll just
yeah.
go limp and want to cuddle, but I don't know.
No, here's the thing. You got to get your stalker in the bathtub.
Yeah,
Just
right.
get in the
And it,
bathtub, get in the bathtub. Because in my first year of marriage, we had two cats, and I was in
yeah,
the bathtub because for some reason we were living in a house for a while that didn't have a shower, and,
right.
and my ex-wife was kind of mean. And
Oh
they made her
no.
laugh. She would do it, so she threw a cat in the bathtub with me.
Okay,
By the
right.
time I got that cat out, he kicked the second cat. And by the time I got that cat out, the first cat came back and she threw that one in. No, she
Oh,
caught it because by that point the cats had to know that she was evil.
oh my God,
But so I'm like, and I had so many scratches on me.
right. Oh
The whole time,
no.
you got one hand over your crotch.
Yeah, right. No,
But
yeah. It's like
That's
in Shrek when Puss in Boots is crawling up under the people's shirts and
yeah. So yeah, that was the first.
yeah,
So yeah, throw the cat in
yeah.
the stalker, or you can make the stalker a sandwich with cat chow in it.
Well, I
You
have
did that too.
my cat has a litter robot thing, so it's much harder to reach the stuff. It goes away. It throws itself
No, I'm
away.
talking about cat food.
So it might take me a little too much time to access
Just say wait
the
right here. No, I'm
yeah.
talking about cat food. She made a peanut butter and cat
Oh,
sandwich for me once.
um,
But because
yeah, why
But
not?
because she's evil, she had a smile on her face, and she also brought me the sandwich out of her kindness and loving heart. And I was like, and I
Right.
went back, and she's just like, she's
Right.
normal. And so I picked it, and as soon as I lifted the bread to look, I heard her just scream, ah! I was it was just peanut butter and cat chow.
Right.
Yeah,
Right, right,
so
right,
I
right.
didn't bite into it. Yeah, this has been a dumb enough conversation
No,
to
no, it's
let you
fine.
go.
Well,
Uh,
I was wondering when I came on whether I would mention a couple of the things that I did, and I think it's good that I did because
okay.
again, you can tell. And by the way, there's so many. He just sent out an email about this. Like, there's so many cartoonists who are with Kagel who haven't posted in like months to years.
Oh yeah.
So I assume their contracts are outdated now. But he mentioned like many of you are not up to quota. So I'm very I'm mad at myself. I'm embarrassed for myself here, but I am not alone in this. And I feel like pretending that this is not the case is silly when it's clear for all to see that I'm not getting these in. I want to be honest about it. I want to be open about it, and I think that the more I publicly flog myself, the more likely I'll be able to just crunch through it and do that, do
This
this
is
thing.
something else to point out.
Yeah.
We used to have jobs. We used to have newspaper jobs, and I bet syndicates didn't have that problem about people not filling their quotas because they had jobs or they had to fill those quotas. Uh,
Hmm.
but now, how many of those cartoonists have actual jobs? Maybe two. The only guy I can think of two guys with Kago who have jobs, and that's Bagley or unless it's Bagley, I always say this these same things, and Adam Ziglas.
Hmm.
I'm sure that he's getting whatever many a week he's supposed to from those guys. The rest of them, say a Gary McCory, uh, maybe he craps three out in one day just to appease that quota to move on. But back when people had jobs, that probably was not a thing with these syndicates and stuff.
Right.
I remember having a quota, and I never really worried about it because it just filled in. And I talked to
Right.
a cartoonist years ago who said it might have been. I think it was Steve Sachs. Steve Sachs says, "Yeah, I'm supposed to do 4 a week, but if I have a whole week of local stuff, I don't worry about it."
Right.
Um,
Right. Right. Right.
uh,
Right.
yeah, I mean, nobody's subscribing to just you. They're just subscribing to the syndicate package,
Right.
which there's always cartoons in it. In my case, they are subscribing just to me, not to brag, but I can't take that time off, which is why I cartoon in Germany. I cartoon every day. I'll cartoon in the morning when you see me in Boston, and I'll cartoon the next morning when I'm catching a plane. Uh,
Right.
I cartoon on planes, and people already know this about. I drew one yesterday in a hotel lobby. I wasn't staying at the hotel. I just drew the cartoon there because that's downtown, and I wanted to finish it. And I came from a coffee shop that closed, and then I went from the coffee shop to the hotel. But
Right.
anyway, that's
Right.
fun to talk about.
Oh
I'm
my goodness.
I'm gonna let you go. We recorded this. I hope we weren't too boring for other people because we did a lot of inside and personal talk. So
We did. Godspeed to us as this is shared.
Well, I love you, Alex, and it's great to see you again. I look forward
Great
to
to
seeing
see you.
you
It was an
in
interesting
September
move to have. It was an
or
interesting move
August.
to have our first conversation in months be recorded for the public.
Yeah, I
So,
know. And we're going with it. Oh, that's next month, right? We're going to be in Boston.
yeah, yeah. Oh, and
Okay.
to be clear, we've been texting throughout, like, but we
Oh,
haven't
yeah.
exchanged vocal sounds for
Yes.
months. So,
We
let's
communicate, but
let's make it less long until next time. How about that?
all right. All right. Well, I want to
Okay.
see you in Boston. So,
Yeah, I'll see
yeah.
you. See you
Okay.
soon.
I'm
Catch you.
interested to meet people that I haven't met yet. I'm
Yeah,
still going
for
to talk to you, don't
sure.
worry, but I want to meet new people and stuff, even if they're old geezers, but
Me
still.
too. I want to get my
Yeah.
freaking money's worth. Yeah,
I
for
hope I
sure.
hope so. I hope I get mine too, just
Yeah, for
but
sure.
it'll be
For
fine. Hope nobody tries to beat me up, like
For sure.
they
You're
do.
good. You talk a lot of trash, but I'll try to have your back.
Okay,
So,
yeah. Bring your cat. Bring your
yeah.
cat. All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, readers.